Hey guys, Marsingen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to take a look at both of the LR Ultra Instinct Gokus, the STR one and the AGL one, on the 200% leader skill from the Resurrection of F Blues, and see how they hold up, see whether they have completely fallen off, or yeah, basically we're just going to find out. So I realised a little while ago that the the Ultra Instinct Gokus, or at least I think all of them are actually, on Powerful Comeback. So they actually do have a 200% lead already, thanks to the worldwide celebration Super Saiyan Goku. But I didn't actually do a 200% showcase for them back then. I don't know if I just didn't notice they were on Powerful Comeback or something, but obviously the Resurrection of F Blues came out on JP before the worldwide celebration, and so I guess I just kind of had it in my brain that that was their 200% team, and never really thought about doing one for Powerful Comeback. So we're going to use them both on this team. The AGL one is in slot 7, so we'll have to wait for him to float around, and then we can have them together. I mean, ooh, 70k. I was about to say, this is a good example of a good turn for Ultra Instinct Goku. So we got 3 dodges. Now remember, the STR UI Goku, he actually does get build up for each time he dodges. I think he has to dodge like 7 times to get fully built up. Whereas the AGL one, he gets a 1-time defensive boost after a dodge. And then obviously doesn't get any extra after that. So I think overall his defense is slightly higher, at least before the STR one is fully maxed out, but we'll see how that plays out. So let's go ahead, and we don't need to really worry too much about this rotation, although to be fair, considering that we're in the first couple of turns with the Resurrection of F Blues, we're going to get the guaranteed additional, so we probably finish off this guy here on the first turn. So all I really want to see from this showcase, obviously with Ultra Instinct Goku, especially when the STR one came out as like a global first, and I'm trying to remember if who the nearest contender was, but almost undeniably was the best unit in the game when he came out on global. And then obviously he came out on JP very soon afterwards. And then when AGL UI Goku came out as part of the 6th anniversary, he was probably hands down the best unit in the game at the time. I'm not sure who the nearest competitor would have been for him. It definitely wasn't Blue Evolution Vegeta. And then the problem is, when the next load of, the next wave of power creep came along, we started to see UI Goku in this kind of situation where, and this is the case for a lot of the more difficult content now, where if he doesn't dodge, he just takes so much damage. So once we get the key with him, we'll get those extra links, Legendary Power and Kamehameha. But these two do share 6 out of 7 links, because the AGL UI Goku has Shocking Speed, the STR one has Over in a Flash, but otherwise that is a pretty good setup for them. Can we get... well, we only need to get 1 more dodge. Yeah, see, UI Goku not getting the best key on this rotation, so I guess we'll just go ahead and do this. So what is the STR one defense-wise now? He's at 172k. Now, the STR one, the disappointing thing about him has kind of always been the fact that he doesn't really have any sort of like decent super attack effect. He disables the enemy's guard, which all that really does is he's able to do standard damage to an AGL enemy. And then, yeah, as his passive, he starts off with 77% attack and defense, has the 70% chance to dodge for 7 turns, and then it drops to 50%, which I think a lot of people probably forget about, although obviously a lot of events nowadays you don't really go for that long anyway. But then, yeah, he gets 1 key and 11% to attack and defense with each dodge, up to 77% and 7 key, so obviously 7 times. And then the AGL one, as you can see, like, he hasn't even been on rotation yet. So even without getting that 1-time dodge bonus, he's already got higher defense than the STR one. Now, obviously, he has the high chance to crit in his super attack effect. Doesn't have any other effect like defense or attack or anything like that. But the 50% chance to crit is obviously very good. And then 70% chance to dodge. He gets 1 key up to 5 with each dodge. And then he gets 1-time 30% defense after the first dodge. He also has a built-in chance to additional. And of course he has the revival, which has always been kind of weird for the AGL UI Goku, because obviously he needs to be hit 3 times in order to have the dodge, to have the revival be like activated, but he has a 70% chance to dodge. So I think in terms of like real life like experience of playing with him in events, like, you know, even back during the 6th anniversary when the God event came out and stuff like that, I think I've actually used his revival in game maybe like once, maybe twice, because he just doesn't really get hit, which is good. Or nowadays, as I've already started to sort of talk about, in the more difficult content, if he doesn't dodge, he dies. So at least here in the earlier phase, we didn't take too much damage from that initial attack from, I always forget the names of the lower Shadow Dragons. I can't remember who this guy is, but hopefully he doesn't super attack Goku here. Yeah, okay, good. So the AGL UI obviously starts off with slightly higher stats. We didn't get good luck with the additionals there either, which is unfortunate, because obviously we have the 50% chance to crit on the super, which does stack, which is very good. That's an effect that, like, you know, the more we see that on other characters, very, very powerful, because the first super attack obviously has the 50% chance to crit, but because they stack, it means the second and subsequent third, because obviously he gets 1 from his passive and can get the hidden potential as well, they will be guaranteed crits. So one of the things that sort of guaranteed crits will help out a unit when it comes to dealing a lot of damage, because, I mean, you can see here, for example, my Resurrection of F Blues, or it could be the Friend, they're both 79%, putting out, like, yeah, third super getting, like, 9 million attack, whereas, obviously, like, the LRUI Goku isn't getting sort of even close to that. But the guaranteed crit on top does obviously help to do a little bit of extra damage. Of course, we eat the super on the int one on this turn. So, and then of course we have the Gods, the anniversary unit from 1 year later. Here, just putting out a 6 million attack stat. Obviously, with enough ki, they get a guaranteed additional super. If you get full ki, they get effective against all types, which is similar to crit in the sense that obviously you're going to be able to do that little bit of extra damage against any units who are not AGL, where you'd already be doing max damage anyway. Right, no passive. We're not going to have your full passive active. I think you still need to be built up, so let's go ahead and put you in slot 1, and then grab these for you, because we'll hopefully get these 2 dodges in slot 1, and then our boy will finish him off here. So there's 1, and there's 2. And we didn't get any extra ki on that second one. So fully built up now. So no support. The STR UI Goku is at 8 million. And then the additional 12 ki at 5. Which is not bad. My STR UI Goku, I should point out actually, is at 90%, not Rainbow. But I mean, that extra 10% doesn't really give a huge amount extra, realistically. Should we go ahead and... yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And we will transform with one of the Vegetas here, so we can at least get links active on this turn. Because now, obviously, these guys are 7 out of 7 link partners. So we'll do this. And then might as well grab those for you. And then I'll keep these red orbs here ready for Ultra Instinct Goku. Because Frieza's got his passive active, so he's not going to take a lot of damage here. Him getting supered is actually perfect. And, but yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Ultra Instinct Gokus down below in the comment section. Have they fallen off completely? The big thing is when it comes to these difficult red zone stages, I've talked about this with some of the other units in the past. We talked about it with Jacko in the 55% showcase for him. Chilai can be similar as well. Is these units that have this really high dodge chance. And even Chilai, with the fact that she gets extra defense with each dodge. The biggest problem can be that, you know, if you don't dodge, you're suddenly taking, like, crazy amounts of damage. Like, if you take... I mean, obviously it's a bad example, but, like, AGL UI Goku, if you take him into the Cell Max event, if you get good RNG, he could dodge every single attack. His, you know, additional supers are getting guaranteed crits, so he might be able to put out, like, a pretty reasonable amount of damage. But then you take one normal attack and you're potentially dead. So let's see how much damage we actually take. Oh, really? You can't pick up those tech orbs? Oh yeah, because they get extra ki from normal type orbs. I was about to say, why is that giving more ki than getting the 2 tech orbs? But because obviously the gods get extra ki from normal type orbs. So let's see, are we going to die here? Is UI Goku going to actually do his thing? Right, we get the dodge, so we get that initial defense raise. See, at least here, he's taking double-digit damage. And then 4.5, that's only the 12 ki. Obviously, he's still not fully built up. I think that's one of his biggest issues, that without support, he's not getting, like, a lot of the extra ki. We're not getting the... Obviously, he's still not built up, actually. Wow. Because he just got an extra ki from that last dodge. So you've got to get him built up early, which I think is probably one of the problems with running the 2 UI Gokus together as a rotation. Because obviously they do work really well together, but especially in the early game, they're both wanting to get the dodges so that they can get their like ki and that built up. I do think it's more important to prioritize the STR1 because he's actually getting permanent like stat increases from getting his dodges, and you don't want to get too deep into the event and him not be built up, and therefore if he does take a hit, his defense is a lot lower than it should be. But then obviously the AGL UI Goku, he still needs to dodge 5 times to get his full ki bonus, and then obviously you're potentially going to struggle to get super attacks with him, which is obviously what we're seeing here. So obviously if we wanted to go all out like crazy 200%, what's the highest numbers we could get out of him? We could run an easier event and just run like a ton of support units around him and stuff like that. We are using the Goku family support memory as well, so they are getting that permanent buff on top of everything else. So, I mean, overall, when it comes down to these kind of units, like if they still want to release units now that, you know, have a 70% chance to dodge, which is still pretty significant, but if you don't dodge, you take ridiculous amounts of damage. I'm okay with that if the flip side is they're also doing like 10 million attack stats and stuff. Like obviously we're talking about the current meta power level, so obviously I'm not going to be super like butthurt that an anniversary unit from a year and a half ago isn't standing up to the current meta. Like it's, you know, something that's just going to happen with power creep. But I think it's why it's the main reason why the 2 UI Gokus have kind of fallen off, right? Because like I said, I'm perfectly happy to have a unit that takes a load of damage if they don't dodge, if the trade-off is that they're dishing out tons of damage, which unfortunately the UI Gokus are just not, unfortunately. So let's turn this back off and transform this Goku so he can hold his own in the last slot here. There we go, perfect. Now, let's see. Can we get the dodges with STR UI Goku? He's fully built up now. 24 ki. Yeah, see, 8.7. That is actually pretty decent, I guess, for STR UI Goku. Again, considering mine's not Rainbow, I don't know how much extra attack he would get off just that extra 10%. But still pretty solid attack stat from him, to be fair. It is just, of course, the case that if we end up not dodging hits, I kind of want to see him take... There we go. Ooh, I was going to say, I want to see him take one now that he's fully built up, but goddamn, still taking nearly 100k from normal attacks when he's fully built up. So, good example there of what I'm talking about, because obviously this is one of the, even though it's the second to last GT Red Zone, it is definitely not one of the more difficult ones. So, yeah, that is a lot of damage for him to be taking from one attack when he's fully built up. So, one of the things that can easily bring these guys back, especially the STR one, obviously give them a general stat increase or from their passive, because LR EZAs, they don't get extra stats, but increase the starting stats in his passive, maybe increase the buff that he gets per dodge. But with an EZA, I feel like if they throw something onto this guy, the STR one specifically, that's like raise defense for 1 turn or something on super, then obviously that's going to help him out pretty significantly. I'm going to get the Dokkan attack here with Golden Freezer. I think we'll probably let this slide here. I don't know. We're going to live this turn. If Nova super attacks Vegeta, then we would be in a bit of a bad spot. But I do kind of want to see one last rotation. Hopefully there's a bunch of attacks in slot 1, and we can just go ahead and put AGL UI Goku in slot 1. I don't know why I bothered to hit the nodes. It's Golden Freezer, right? He's done with his 1.8 million attack stat. Let's go. At least he is getting those good attack links from Vegeta, like the Super God Combat, Resurrection of F, stuff like that. But yeah, look at that. Beastly 3.3 million damage off of the Dokkan attack. And then look at that, 8.2 from Vegeta. That's very good. I'm finding the Resurrection of F Blues to be quite a fun unit. It's just, as I've talked about in the multitude of videos I've done highlighting them since they came out, is they're just not really good at anything. They're just like good at everything. Like good attack stats, good defense, but here we go. Yeah, no defensive tech, so we're taking 350k from a super attack. What was it, 325? But yeah, not ideal. But that's what happens when you're just raw stats, I guess. And there you go, the gods with no guard. Alright, well there you go. That was the AGL and the STR UI Goku max links on a 200% team with the Goku family support memory as well. Let me know what you guys think of them down below. Have they fallen off completely? Do you still use them at all for any events or anything? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.